Making an AI game. This video, we're gonna be making an AI game. So welcome back, gamers, to the greatest game dev channel on YouTube. That's right, I know it's been a while, but I'm here to tell you, buckle up, gamers, because this is the part of the video where I look straight at the camera, if there were a camera, and I say, it's making time. I'm sorry, that was a bad reference. It's making time. So yeah, I'm pretty sure we all understand what AI is, loosely, right? It's something I'm really inspired by generally. I definitely think it's going to change the world, you know, the media, YouTube, games. I really like when games have some kind of AI elements of sorts, you know, games like Portal and Portal 2, because those are the only games I've played. Until recently, when I played Will You Snail. Do you even snail, bro? Yes. A 2D platformer game that has this evil AI called Squid, who plans to escape this game and kill you all. Anyway, this was a pretty fun game to play. I beat the final boss of this game on easy, which is the hardest difficulty, by the way, so that's kind of a random weird flex to throw in there. I'm an epic gamer. And the developer of this game, Jonas Tyroller, an epic game dev YouTuber, hosted a game jam called WOWIE! And the theme was collaborate with AI. The theme was awesome, and I thought I had time, so I set off to abandon 3 days of my life to make my very own AI game. So, starting off, I didn't have everything about this AI game figured out, but I knew I wanted it to be 3D and FPS, so I basically just joined my FPS controller for my last game, Button Hell. Oh, what's that? You don't know Button Hell? It's just a little game I made the other time. Anyway, I had to make a couple of very important changes to make it actually work in a different game, and now the FPS controller works like an FPS controller, because I can move with my keyboard and look around with the mouse, just like they be. Wow, so much progress. Also, is it just me, or is that gun looking kinda whack? Actually, it's just long cubes, two long boys put together. That's not fun. That's not epic. So let's make a better gun model in Blender. Pause. We're going to model right here in Godot using Godot CSG Primitives. From the creators of Godot's particle system, an all-new mesh creation system which can create anything in just a couple of clicks. So with the first person and the shooter, FPS, get it, completely out of the way, I decided to go brainstorming, which fried most of my brain cells, but also gave me the game idea. So we're making a game where the player can control an AI and select what it attacks and how it moves. Essentially, the player trains the AI on what to do, and the AI eventually becomes good enough to control the player. So the player still has things to do, and the AI is trained on doing other specific actions. I guess it's not really AI, because all you do is give actions and they get executed like a robot. But thankfully, the jam description says we can make our AI as dumb as we want or as smart as we want. So dumb AI it is. Now we need things to tell our AI to attack. So let's add in some boxes that don't do anything. I mean, they're just boxes, right? And of course, they were made using Godot CSG Primitives, a great system for making stuff. Like I said, you can make just about anything with it. And now we have boxes in game, and that's pretty cool. But wait, that's not supposed to happen, right? So it seems like there's a problem with the kinematic to rigid body collision, because the player is kinematic and the boxes are rigid. Luckily, I am a veteran when it comes to handling these type of things. All we gotta do is disable infinite inertia and then problem solved. Huh? Okay, so it seems the boxes are sleeping, which is a physics state. So all we have to do is wake them up when they're close enough. And that's done. It now works perfectly. Also, didn't we actually make these boxes just so we could murder them? Ah, right, I forgot. The gun doesn't even work yet, so let's make it work. First we add in some animations and then some particles for the muzzle flash, which was created obviously using the Godot's particle system. And finally we need some gunshot sounds, because you need sounds. Sounds epic. Very cool. And so we'll be using GFXR, which is basically a Godot add-on that adds SFXR to Godot, which I used for play all the sounds in this game. We also need to code a system for playing said sounds. And more time, apparently. Looks like I've somehow spent 2 days so far. It's probably the brainstorming. It took a lot of time to recover from that. And so it's time to go into dream mode, because we're speedrunning the rest of this. I say as I waste like 5 more minutes just shooting boxes, because the shooting now works, which is fancy, I guess. Next I worked on level building elements like columns, materials, and added windows and doors that glow too much apparently, but I didn't actually use them, so I guess they're not relevant. And as you probably can tell, all of these props and all the meshes you're seeing were made using Godot CSG Primitives. I mean, who needs Blender, am I right? So now it's time to work on some random level generation, because I don't have time to build any levels myself. Plus, the theme for this jam is about AI, right? So let's make some random levels and call it AI generated levels. Huh. I wonder why that didn't work. And now let's try to implement the player AI. So yeah, I wasn't sure how to actually implement the player AI, but I knew the player would have to select actions to be performed by the AI on each object, and so I started working on some UI for that. Okay, so with no luck on that, I decided to go work on the level generation again, and it started off weird. And wait a minute, looks like I did something on the UI. What's this? I think it says subscribe and also like and comment. Wow, can you believe that? It actually said subscribe. You should totally do that right now. But eventually the AI generation became better and then worse. It was weird. Finally, the rooms generated were weird, of course, but kind of interesting. And of course, these rooms were made by simply joining boxes of different sizes together with union boolean operations. I mean, you probably know where I'm going with this. It's obviously thanks to the Godot CSG Primitives. This whole game is only possible thanks to Godot CSG Primitives. Mostly CSG boxes. I mean, Blender could not even. And right now we've hit like 17 hours left for the jam, and I'm nowhere near finishing, so that's cool. Added a 2D map system to help the player navigate the weirdly generated rooms, and spent some time adding important stuff to show that the player is actually AI, but that wouldn't really be visible, so I guess time well spent. 11 hours left. And then I tried to make the map a bit more useful by adding map navigation, but then this was a bit trickier than I thought because Godot now has a new navigation server system which I wasn't used to, so I had to spend some time trying to understand that. And here we go. Map navigation test 1. Failure. Navigation system. Corrupt failure. 6 hours left. I whipped up a quick implementation of the AI Actions UI system, and now you can select actions from the right panel for each object or entity, as I have called it in this case. And now all that's left is for the AI to act accordingly. So let's do some more programming. Okay, I completely blacked out, but when I woke up, the AI is now responding and it will automatically carry out the actions set by the player. Also, since it's called kill, we should probably make it possible for the boxes to actually die. So the murder is complete. FBI, open up! and it still doesn't work. This is fine, totally fine. And I was now left with 1 hour. I fixed a few more bugs in preparation for export. 32 minutes more. Okay, it's now or never, time to export the project. And that was when I hit my biggest roadblock in the jam. You see, the export templates for this new version of Godot were missing.
And by the time I got it, I was already too late.
I was originally going to scrap all this and move on to the next one with the WOWIE Game Jam, but then I decided that I was actually gonna finish it and try to make it better. And so I did. With that new sense of motivation to actually finish, I began making a few changes. First, I made it possible for the boxes to actually die, and added some damage indicator text, which is basically a 3D label that scales down when it appears. Next, I fixed the map navigation system, so that actually works. It has indicators for where you're going and everything. Sick! And then I modeled a table, of course, using Godot CSG just so there were more objects for the AI to target and destroy. And you know, where there are tables, there's chairs. So I tried to model a chair, and here's how I epically modeled something of a chair in Godot using Godot CSG. Now you might think it's looking like something else and not a chair, but I assure you that these are the chairs of the future. And in fact, it doesn't need the chair stand anymore because it flies. That's right, it's a hover chair. Okay, maybe not yet. It's not exactly flying right now, just sitting there being useless, much like me. But if we increase the hover power, then there, it starts to move. But then it's not enough right now, and it needs more rotation speed to actually balance properly. So okay, that's a lot. And whoa! I experimented with those values and the size of the chair to find out what's best, and ended up with this. It's obviously not perfect, but it works for the most part. Next, I made it so that the tables automatically spawn with chairs and the rooms automatically spawn with tables, so that all the rooms are just automatically filled with tables and chairs once they are created. Which means more stuff to destroy by the AI, which is cool. And then I tried a few post-processing effects. And I found this amazing video by Sebastian Lague on creating a neural network that can learn stuff, you know, like actual AI. And I thought this was awesome, just what I needed. So I went on this side quest to learn machine learning. That's English, learn machine learning. So, after watching a bit of the video, I have written some code here to create my own small neural network, basically a small brain. Wait, I already have that. It's supposed to simply tell us what the color is. Easy explanation is that somehow the correct configuration of these sliders over here, the weights and biases, will give the most accurate answers for what color this is. And here, it actually works. Look, it's changing and stuff, but it gets interesting when the AI is able to learn and correct those values. But I never got to this part because I basically gave up. It was just getting a little too complicated for this small AI game. I mean, what was I thinking? I was making an AI game. It was supposed to be complicated, but I wasn't having any of that, and I just went back to working on the game the way it was. And so we're back in the game, and I've added this mission feature up here that randomly selects objectives and constraints. So you have a win condition and a lose condition. They quickly became very repetitive and boring, so I had to make some big changes to the game itself. I completely scrapped out the previous AI action implementation and instead created a new system of signals. which is just a lot better than the previous system. It also makes it possible to have actions for other things, not just objects. And then I added this cool console log thing, because the player is supposed to be a machine, AI, and it should have like a cool hacker screen or something, so this was my answer to that. It turned out to be a lot more useful for debugging than the game itself, but I kept it in, so cool. Also, I added a laser thing for scanning objects, and the way it works is that when you scan an object, it sends a found signal for that object. This makes it so that you only receive signals for the objects you scan, and so you don't have to set actions for every single thing in the room. Also, since the player has to interact with the UI a lot, I modified the FPS controller to now use arrow keys for looking around, so the mouse is no longer captured and is always free to be used to interact with UI. Now, doing this was pretty hard to understand at first, and I can see how this will be definitely disorienting for new players, but you kind of get used to it after a while. And then there's the new light entity, which seems to be useless because the rooms are already bright enough as it is. But then I needed a place to hide this massive gun thingy that shoots equally massive bullets. And is it just me, or are these bullets looking kinda thick?
Adding music, implementing more AI actions, adding upgrades, implementing different color boxes, and finally, some music. So the music part was pretty easy for me because I just went on Pixabay and I found these really cool tracks by the same artist that just blended so well with each other, so I could use them for different levels. So thanks MarkDeeHD from Pixabay, very cool. The menu setup was pretty easy. I simply had to make some 3D buttons because I love 3D buttons. And I definitely did this using Godot CSG, so that's how you press them, by shooting at them. They like that sometimes. I added some text, credits, settings, all that stuff. Yeah, so we also have a level 10 boss. I made a boss fight. This guy is impossible to beat. I'm just gonna put that out there. So there, I made an AI game. I keep calling it that. I didn't find a better name for the game, so you're just gonna have to live with that. It took a lot longer than I'd have liked, and it's not perfect by all means. It's really bad actually. But it was quite the journey. I hope you enjoyed. I mean, I definitely did. So feel free to smash that like button if you enjoyed as well. And if you didn't, I enjoyed it, so you could help me smash that like button. Subscribe to see more of this stuff. And yeah, go ahead and comment out what you thought of the video. And hey, yo, shout out to my boy Godot CSG Primitives for making all of this possible. Anyway, shout out to you guys. Thank you for watching. You're awesome. AI Game is available on itch.io for download, so go download now. Link in description. Tell me what you thought of it. And don't forget to smash subscribe. Alright, see ya. Bye. Thanks for watching. I am going to go have a fist fight with the sack right now.